What's up, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. Well, this day 10 years ago, the first Bitcoin block was mined and had a pretty interesting message in it. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit and kind of look at how things have transpired since that eventful day 10 years ago. All right, let's dive into this video.
Trade Genius.
All right, guys. So, basically when Satoshi had mined the first Genesis block, he actually encoded a message in the Coinbase part of the block. And that's what we have up here on the screen. If you notice here, it says Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. So what he was referencing was this headline from the Times, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for the banks. And basically, Satoshi was versed in central banking. And so basically what this represented was how he wanted to take the centralized model of banking and monetary policy and make it a decentralized one. And by doing so, you basically created this vehicle for monetary sovereignty. And so Bitcoin as a phenomenon is pretty complex. I mean, there's a lot of ramifications because of the way it is set up, its decentralized form, its ways of making money transferring from one party to the next very, very easy, very, very cheap, something that cannot be done with the current banking systems. I mean, there are many examples of large transactions when we're talking millions of dollars worth that are moved for just pennies on the blockchain. And that's just something that you just can't do. What's interesting too is now that we have another headline 10 years later, we see another problem. Universities face credit crunch as debt spirals. So, this issue of debt and over leveraging hasn't really gone away. And so Bitcoin 10 years later basically an idea has now grown into a full-fledged monetary vehicle and a store of value. And now we've got so many other things that are going on. 2018 was just an extremely bullish year as far as the tech goes. I mean, there was just a lot of progress made, not only for ways for institutional size money inflows to start going into Bitcoin, but things like the second layer Lightning. Those are big deals, and that's going to help progress things forward, kind of overcome some of the critical things that are said about Bitcoin as far as being slow with the 10-minute blocks and things like that. When you have second layer applications being applied to it, that really takes care of those issues, because now you're solving that issue by using side chains or layer 2 applications. You also have smart contracts that can be run on Bitcoin too. So things have really progressed over the last 10 years. But one thing is for sure is that the fact that nothing happened to Bitcoin, that the root idea of it with time stamping blocks in a chain to overcome the double spending problem and create this basically digital store of value and currency that can be used on a faster pace with second layer applications, really was just a completely genius and phenomenal creation. Now, one thing you can notice as we see debt continuing to be an issue 10 years later, we see, here's basically almost the entire price range from Bitcoin back to 2010 as it started to first trade on exchanges. And as you can see, I mean, this is following adoption. And to be honest, guys, with 2017 peaking out like it did, and then we had a pullback, again, these are normal type cycles as you see on the logarithmic chart. But really, we're only now starting to see an uptick in what we would call adoption. So you have like the innovator phase going into the early adoption phase, and we really haven't seen the mainstream conversion over to adoption and seeing this as a store of value. Roughly about probably 3% of the global population transact in Bitcoin. So you can see what the finite supply is capable of doing, and imagine when we start seeing a larger demand as people start coming online and start adding Bitcoin into their portfolios as a unit of store of value. This is just, this chart is just getting started. And you know, there are those out there that say, you know, you're always going to have naysayers. The death of Bitcoin has been pronounced numerous times, as we've shown on previous videos. But really, what we're looking at is basically a store of value and a way to transfer money outside the current legacy systems. And it's not going anywhere. It's a known fact. You just cannot get rid of a decentralized system like this. So I think lots of great opportunities ahead of us, guys, as we head into 2019, as far as not only accumulating a Bitcoin, but also being able to trade it. But one thing is for sure, this was a huge deal as far as the idea of it, the creation of it, blockchain in and of itself. It's going to change the way we do things, and blockchain will infiltrate our lives in ways that we don't even know yet. So anyway, thought I would reflect on that a little bit, and basically just kind of, you know, understand, you know, where we are in the time and the scheme of things with this thing. And you know, the party is just getting started with Bitcoin in reality. Mostly that follow this along, you guys are really early into the game. And again, these cycles will continue, but there's a lot of upside from here, and the adoption is going to explode as we move forward over the next couple of years. All right, guys, well, that's it for this video. Appreciate you guys watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. All right, guys, take care. Bye.
Trade Genius.